Welcome, everybody. Super excited to be here today. Let's see here. Welcome, guys. Hope everyone is having a great day so far. We are super excited. Ben, is video looking good so far?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Well, guys, this is really a unique opportunity. We're incredibly grateful just for Starlink. It's amazing how Starlink has just been a game changer for cruisers. So today we're gonna chat and hang out with TJ and the crew of Aspire from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And this is it's absolutely incredible. So those reels, the drone footage that you guys just saw, that was the crew sailing yesterday. Captain TJ flew the drone and got that footage. And so that's exactly what conditions were like yesterday. And it's going to be exciting to just hear how things are going for them. So first of all, just welcome everybody. I'm Tim. I am the lead instructor for Nautilus Sailing. And with me today is Ben. Ben is the operations director and is also a fellow captain. And then we're going to have TJ on as well, who's also a Nautilus instructor and captain as well. We're part of Nautilus Sailing. We're an international sailing school. We teach ASA courses. We specialize in liveaboard courses. And we're really kind of known in the industry just for our premium liveaboard courses. We love helping people learn how to sail. And over the years, we've helped almost 5,000 people embark on their sailing journeys. I think one of the things that's really been just unique for us on this adventure is we have met so many incredible people that have come through our program. And so we're doing all these really, really neat alumni opportunities and kind of next step sailing adventures. So what's cool is this is the culmination. This trip across the Atlantic is the culmination of a 7-month journey. Aspire was finished in April in France, and since then we've had over 60 alumni who have sailed on 17 different adventures all through the Mediterranean. The boat went out to the Azores. Ben captained some trips out there. I had a chance to do some trips in Sardinia, and now this is the final culmination with 3 crew members sailing across the Atlantic. So we're super excited. Glad you guys can be here. And want to thank too just our sponsors. Super grateful to the American Sailing Association and to XS Catamarans. We are just in love with Aspire, and it's been great getting to know the XS team. So I'm going to pass it over to Ben. Ben's just going to give us some logistics and just how this webinar is going to work. Ben, all you.
Awesome. Thank you. Again, thanks for everyone for being here. Big thanks to our sponsors for this webinar as well. Really excited to be able to share this with everyone here. The way this webinar is going to go today, we do have a couple videos to show you. We have a lot of good interactions with the crew, a lot of explaining what's going on. So very excited for that part. In terms of the nitty gritty for all of this, please, I would love to have everyone say hi in the chat box of the Zoom webinar. Please make sure your to field is set to everyone. Would love to see that. And then also where you're coming in from today. That would be really cool to see where everyone is right now as well. We did ask for some questions in the email yesterday, and so we're kind of collating those together. We know questions are going to come up during the webinar. Please put all of your questions into the question and answer box of this webinar. That's where we're going to be watching. We're going to be putting questions together in there. We'll group those together and ask the crew at the appropriate time in the webinar. The raising hands feature, we're not going to be watching raising hands. Sorry, everyone. Drop your question in the Q&A. And thanks for saying hi. Appreciate it, guys. I'm done with the logistics stuff, and I believe Tim has the next thing to introduce.
Let's do it. So without further ado, we're going to cut to a video clip here of just preparations. And this was the crew filmed last weekend as they were getting ready in Mindelo and Cape Verde before they launched across the Atlantic. So want to show, actually, first we're going to go to meet the crew, and then we'll do that. So Ben, if you want to roll the reel of the Aspire crew, and just so we can get to know who's on this adventure.
Hi, I'm TJ. I'm from Seattle area, Washington. I've been an instructor with Nautilus for about 7 years. Really looking forward to getting into the rhythm offshore, that kind of feeling of just freedom, no land in sight.
Hi, I'm Hans. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I think I'm looking forward most to probably night watch navigating by sextant, being 1,000 miles from anything, and probably swimming in 16,000 feet of water. Just can't wait. It actually was celestial navigation that got me first interested in sailing. So I first did the ASA course in celestial navigation and then connected with Nautilus and started getting sailing certifications. There's this part of me that is just dying to get out into the middle of the ocean and put a blindfold over the GPS and sail by paper and pencil and sextant. And after a few days, take the blindfold off and see how we did. I think the thing I'm probably most fearful of is just, managing fatigue and getting enough sleep and making sure I stay sharp as a crew member.
My name's Blair, and I'm from the Midwest in a place called the Quad Cities. Live in Iowa, about 2.5 hours west of Chicago. Interesting thing I'm looking forward to is the time with other people, in the open ocean, really kind of throttling back from life's busy lifestyle. The most difficult part of this journey for me is a little bit being away from my family, to be honest. It's 2.5, 3 weeks off the grid. We have some obvious navigational instruments to keep us tied in, but we'll be doing quite a bit of dead reckoning and celestial work as well. But it'll be a little bit more difficult in modern day to just break away, not have a cell phone, not being able to surf on Instagram or Facebook or social media.
My name is Jason Fine. I'm from Hastings-on-Hudson, New York, just north of New York City. Excited about on this trip would be the longest sailing adventure I've ever had, 2,200 miles or thereabouts, without touching land, having to prepare for that, both food-wise, sailing skill-wise, and to work with all our partners and crew members. The most challenging part of this adventure is going to be getting along with my crewmates. No, seriously. The most challenging part of this adventure is going to be on a boat for whatever number of days it is. We've heard different numbers, anywhere from 15 to 18 days. That'll be challenging, but super exciting.
Awesome. What a crew. So super grateful to Captain TJ, to Jason, Hans, and the guys just for taking the boat across the Atlantic. It's really feel grateful to those guys. It's going to be an amazing trip. So the last thing we want to show you guys real quick before we go live to the crew, I want to show you a little bit about just the preparation in Mindelo and what they did in terms of provision. So we got a couple minutes here just to show you some of that footage. So Ben, we'll let you roll with that.
Yeah, so weather's been very challenging this year in the Atlantic. We've had system after system after system just marching through. Yesterday we're looking at a system north of Bermuda that had 70-knot gusts, and that's sending waves in our direction. It's thousands of miles away, but you get significant waves. The wind has gone back to its normal right now. It's gone back to the east, which is what we want for a downwind run all the way to the Caribbean. But the patterns, it's just been really unsettled.
visiting in an island town is you get what they have, and that's how it works. And this is not my first time, luckily, of being on a cruise or on a voyage that comes out of an island, but you know, this is a situation where you have to go from store to store. You don't get what you hope to find, or you leave that store and you go to the next one. But at the same time, you get to see the town. People are super polite and interesting, and everybody's interested in the person who goes by with a really full cart. They want to know what's going on. So that was a lot of fun.
So hopefully that gave everybody just a taste for all the preparations. It was obviously a big job getting ready to go across the Atlantic. So now, the moment we've all been waiting for, super, super excited. We're going to go live to Captain TJ and crew in the middle of the Atlantic. So Captain TJ, you there?
Yeah, hey, I am here. Aboard Aspire. Is it coming through okay?
Yeah, coming through great. Good to see you. Wow, clarity's amazing.
Yeah, good. It is amazing that we're able to do this. So we're like almost 700 miles in, nobody around, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm not sure what you guys want to see first, but I just want to say, miss my wife. I'll be home soon. I didn't think that was going to happen. Okay. So
looks like she's on the call, Tim, with all of her students too. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, cool. I see some Q&A coming in. So here's a quick review of what we got aboard. Got all the creature comforts, you know. This XS-14 is really a big wide open plan. Nav station, another nav station over here. Got all our, you know, we've already 1/3 of our eggs are gone, but we're doing great. I'll take a quick run down to the cabin. Quick view here. So this is one of the aft cabins, and there's basically they all look the same. And then where we, you know, there's lots of places to hang out. So I'm going to quickly introduce you to Pablo. Pablo is the deliveries captain the insurance company required us to have. On this one, he's done 16. This is the 17th over. So Pablo, say hi. He's been great. He's from Slovakia originally, and he's joining us. He's bringing a wealth of information. I'm just trying to figure out where my crew is because they're a camera shy or something. Here's our code 0. So we've been running our code 0 for most every day because almost straight downwind produces about 5 to 6 knots. Our limit is about 15. Oh, hey, there we go. There's my crew. So there's our crew. This is the Star Lounge where Hans is doing his celestial sights. Do you guys want to do a quick, I'll hand the camera around. You can just say hi to everybody. Selfie mode.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Jason Fine from Hastings-on-Hudson, New York. We're having an amazing trip. Great crewmates, super captain, and I'll hand it over to Blair.
Blair Foreman from Quad Cities, Iowa, saying hi to all the folks on the webinar, my family. Everything about having to break off the grid, I guess it really wasn't true, so it's not so hard to be out here in the Atlantic. Hans?
I'm Hans Berg from Seattle, Washington. Loving life here at the Star Lounge. And like TJ said, most of our celestial sights are taken from up on top of the sun here. What a trip.
Hey, so guys, just hey, am I coming through okay? The wind's pretty good out here, but okay.
So I wanted audio's crystal clear. TJ, it's working really well.
Excellent. Okay, so you guys had some concerns about what the most difficult part of the trip is. So in reality, what's the most difficult part of the trip besides me?
Finding room in the freezer.
Oh, finding room in the freezer because there is very, very small freezers. Yeah.
Something that Hans mentioned earlier in his introduction reel.
Let me just hand it to you. Let me just hand it to you so they can hear you.
Yeah. I hadn't recognized the the rotations of watches, and as 3 of us to cover a 12-hour nighttime shift require 4 3-hour shifts, then 6 hours of sleep, and just kind of make sure we all stay up on our rest so we can make smart decisions, be ready to help each other.
Yeah. Anything else? Hans, this most difficult?
Yeah, so I'm the one who said I was most concerned about getting enough sleep, and I'd say my biggest challenge has been getting enough sleep. But I'd say it's not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. You know, you can grab sleep in about 4 to 5 hours at night, and then get a pocket of an hour or two or an hour there during the day. It's not that hard.
The most difficult part of this trip is having to say I'm going to get off in a week or so. That's going to be the hardest part. It's pretty lovely out here. While we're just a little insignificant part of the ocean, it's a pretty good dot to be in. So that's I think it could be the hardest part. Land ho, we'll be excited, but it's going to be tough to get off.
Hey Blair, since I got you right there, you've been on the boat a couple times now. Certainly this one, the largest and the longest trip. There's a question that just came in about any surprises that you're finding. It was asking about first timers versus those who have done this before. As you guys are all first timers across the Atlantic, but what are you finding surprising about this trip?
You know, I think the rapidity with which we all started to get in sync together. It didn't really take much time at all for each of us to figure out I think we figured out who everybody else is on the boat and get along and just make both the salon and the deck and all the sail work just as a team. That was really a nice treat. When I was in the Azores on this boat, we had some pretty fierce winds and a moderate amount of motoring. So we've got a lot of sail changes that we've done, and the team's really come together. The boat looks great. We've got great technician working on any kind of problems that happen. So it's really been a nice trip so far.
Very cool. Thank you.
Blair, hey, we also wanted to say yesterday was Blair's birthday, right? So Blair, happy birthday. Yeah. Can't believe you celebrated a birthday from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, 62. Hey, one thing JJ did to us, he's like, hey, you guys doing a 1 push-up a mile. So we're every 10 miles, we all do 10 push-ups. It's great until you take sleep, and then you have to get up and do 60. So, but we're all doing it. We're getting in shape and having a good time. And I was going to show one thing else about the excess that's cool is that it's kind of like having 2 monohulls. So when you're sailing, you know, you're right here and you got a monohull, and then you go to the other side and you got a monohull. So it's whatever gives you the best view of the sails, and you're real close to the water. It's obviously really loud, but it's just the sensation is just amazing. You know,
are you feeling overly exposed back there, or are you pretty happy with the protection with the stuff like that?
No. Yeah, you're surrounded by, you know, all of the seat, you know, the seat back, the 2-person seat. You're totally enclosed, lifelines, and then you got the bimini over. As far as wind goes, all you do is switch sides. So like one side's a windward side, one side's a leeward. So you're really tucked in. It's not exposed at all. I think one drawback is the visibility. There's kind of a little bit of a zone there that you have to, well, besides the bananas, but you got to be able to see through when you're close quarters. But we have twin helms and twin engines, so we just switch sides. It works best. So yeah, but anyway, so that's this is what happens is we have this kind of situation where everybody gathers around and helps each other. So it's nice. Okay, I didn't see any of the questions yet, so if we have any, we'll go ahead and do that. I can gather the guys around the laptop and we can answer questions that way.
We'll tell you what, why don't we continue going with we're getting a lot of questions coming in about life on board. And so can you take us through a typical day?
Yeah, so one of the things we decided to do early on was we stick with UTC because we're traveling across 4 or 5 time zones. And so one of the things that happens on trips like this is you set your watch and it switches and your alarm goes off an hour early or an hour late. or somebody comes down like, where's my relief? I've been on for 3 hours, now it's 4. So we decided to just go UTC and we keep it. And so we basically, everything is scheduled around that time. So we have our, like Pablo and I are switching off. He does 9 to 2 and I do 2 to 7. And then so we have 2 people on at night. So we have the other crew is doing 3-hour rotations. So 3 on, 3 off, so they can sleep for 6. One person can sleep for 6. So we always have 2 people on at night for safety reasons and camaraderie and all that too. So breakfast happens based on the sun coming up, like a couple hours after the sun comes up, we kind of have breakfast. And that's like, it says 11:30 or something like that in the daytime, but it's really breakfast time. So we've been operating around the sun, sunset, sunrise, and we, the celestial path, the nautical twilight on both ends to get so that kind of rhythm is part of it. A lot of coffee is happening. We've been sleeping as needed, which is anytime in fact, we had to wake up Hans to do this. He was out completely, which was great. We try to do a meal together at night, every night. So we sit down around the table and have a chef prepared meal in the Catamaran Cafe in the middle of the ocean. Location, right? So that's always fun. We're doing a dry passage so that doesn't interfere with anything. Just figures that's the best way for safety. I mean, I think Pablo's actually been a real good influence on us as far as rest goes, is that he generally runs about 12 hours of sleep a day. That's what he tries to do on his passages, and then, which is amazing. So anytime he can, he just eats, goes to sleep, gets up, does his watch. So all that said, that's kind of, I guess, life aboard. And, we have we have people that love cooking and people that love cleaning. So we have a great mix there, and trying to just keep everything tidy. That's constant, constant thing. Yeah. Hopefully that answers the question.
It does. Here's one for technicality is things always break on boats. Any technical issues so far?
Let me think. Yes, just a couple. Yeah, so it's like that. So we had a chart plotter that was misbehaving. So we have two chart plotters. One of them was just disconnecting from the network. So we had to cut the seal and pull all out, check all the wires, because it's always going to be a loose wire, or, the boat's new, so it's not corrosion. So it's something that's not secured. So we chase that down, we get it solved, and then we seal it all up. And then about 2 days later, the problem comes back. So it's just, that's a nuisance. We had, the water maker kept throwing an error on us. And it would do like half an hour of water production and then it would error. So we replaced the probe. I mean, Ben's done an amazing job of keeping us spares. So I went to the bin and boom, pulls out the spare, just the spare I needed. It's already there. We got water filters, we got everything. So we spent a bunch of time, had to bypass the computer part of the brain and make it just a manual water maker, like just a sample valve and then over to the tank. So, water maker is pretty darn important because you last 3 days without water, and we got a whole bunch of jugs, but we'd rather just have hot water and hot showers. So that's all working again. I don't know. I can't remember, Ben. I can't remember any of the other technical issues, but there's always things, wiring this and wiring that. And all the real tech work was in Mindelo. We had a good week to work through all the details and get everything wired and tested before we went out. So hopefully we're just going to be sailing at this point.
Excellent. A lot of questions coming in about current conditions, weather planning, weather routing. What's it like with the current sail plan? How are things going from that perspective?
Yeah, so we basically designated two weather downloads a day, and so we're getting the ECMWF as well as GFS. GFS does a good job spotting storms. But ECMWF is good for our deal. So we use Predict Wind, Iridium Go. We download that twice a day to an iPad or a phone or whatever, and we share that and begin planning. It's been pretty mundane. I think the waves, we did have those big waves I was talking about, probably 12 foot, 3.5 meter waves, but they're 12 to 14 seconds apart. So it was just like this big elevator roller coaster coming towards us. Didn't have an effect. The winds have been, basically 12 to 14 on average. Sometimes it'll go up to 20. The last few days. First couple days we had 20 plus, and we're supposed to get in the 20s again for the rest of the ride. So we're going to, shift away from the code zero. Code zero is only good to 15 apparent, and we, basically it's perfect at 12 to 14. Boat gets going 6 or 7 knots. We haven't really had our main up much because the wind's been so far aft of us that the wind shields the jib. So it's wing and wing, and then the wind does shift around quite a bit. Every time we have any clouds going by, it'll shift 20 to 40 degrees. So that's a hassle. So we just said code zero, it's bringing us 5 knots. Let's do that. Our basic rule has been anything lower than 4 knots, we're going to augment with an engine. So we've had to do that a couple times for an hour or two, but generally it's keeping us going. So it's really great. We've just been going along with code zero. It's a big sail.
Yeah. Awesome. Some other questions coming in now. Food, fishing, lifestyle. How's the fishing been? What's the provisioning like? What's the meal plan like? And then it's kind of related to that. Do you have any specific assigned roles of each crew member, or is everyone trying to do everything?
It's based on, like, Blair loves cooking as like part of who he is. No accident he gets selected to be on this crew, but he's a great chef and he loves cooking. So the primary meal, the dinner meal is Blair's. We tend to today he did French toast and omelets for everyone, kind of on demand. That was wonderful. Most days it's kind of cereal and yogurt in the morning, and then we have lunch meat wraps and things like that during the day. So we've got cold cuts and cheeses and breads and wraps. The bread's kind of gone. Now it's time for bread pudding. It's a little stale, so Blair's going to do that. But yeah, our food has been fabulous. I mean, I would highly recommend. 4.5 stars for sure, and location is great. The fishing part. So we've got lots of fishing gear. I can switch the screen here. Okay. Yeah, so we got lots of lures, lots to choose from. So we're going, this is all the kit of all the different lures that we have, a whole bunch here as well. So we've been trying everything, and we've got 2 rods. We generally run 1. We've got 1 running all day. Haven't had much. I think we might be going a little fast, honestly, but maybe a wahoo will speed up and catch us. But we landed 1 Dorado. As we were getting him sorted, he flopped off and went over the side, so we lost him. So that was not fun. But we've got a good amount of protein, but right now we'd like to get some more on board. So we're definitely trying.
Awesome.
There's
you've obviously done a lot of catamaran sailing, certainly with Nautilus, and you've done plenty of monohull sailing with Nautilus and lots on your own, and potentially even some input from your crew as well. A lot of questions on asking about the feel of the catamaran on a long passage versus the monohull, and if there's any effectively fatiguing difference that you're noticing.
Well, from experience with monohulls, we've done quite a bit of offshore sailing in monohulls. In this sea right now, we've had quite a confused sea, but generally things have organized to be behind us and a little bit aside. But I was saying this a few times in the past few days, is that this is the moneymaker for the monohulls. I mean, the catamarans. Monohulls roll like crazy. So we're just kind of this is a 26 foot wide cat, and it's just on rails. So we're just surfing down the waves. A wave will catch us and just surfing down. It's really dry. It feels really safe. We could walk around. I mean, we've got tethers on everywhere. We're walking around the deck. We feel pretty safe. And so as far as fatigue goes, sometimes we'll get that slap. That's one of the things that catamarans get, that big donkey slap, whack in the bottom just before you can hit down a wave. And that's kind of alarming. We haven't gone into the waves much, but I know on this boat, when you're on a close reach, those forward bunks are pretty loud because they slap on the chines on the hull. But generally, that's the only thing that would probably draw back. So you just sleep in the salon or out in the cockpit as needed. But I know on monohulls in this type of situation, what I'm looking at in the sea is like we'd be rolling like crazy. my wife and I did a trip, and we had to pull in for a few days just to sleep because you couldn't do anything without holding on, whether that's cooking or anything, walking, everything. It's just exhausting. So we don't have that. We've been doing push-ups to keep ourselves in shape and moving around, but I don't feel like there's a physical exhaustion due to the boat. Took us a while to get our sea legs. I think there was a question about seasickness. I can.
There was. Yeah, just asking about any issues with seasickness so far.
Yeah, that's something that maybe I know Blair had. Sorry, go for it, TJ. I was going to say too, Blair's a doctor, right? And had some really good thoughts on some of the different meds for seasickness as well. I wonder if you wanted to kind of share some of that.
Hey, Blair, did you want to talk a little bit about seasickness and medication recommendations? Okay, so I'm just going to grab Blair because it'd be easier.
Cool.
Yeah, so like Hans had a hard time first day. He was really surprised. It's funny how people get embarrassed about that. I'm like, hey, we're going out. It's rolling. I mean, we had this confused sea on the north side of out of Mindelo. You know, we had 3 foot, conflicting chop, and so a couple of people did get sick for the first couple of days, and so we went with meclizine, and then I think he had a relief band. Hans had a relief band going, but anyway, I'll just switch it over to Blair. He could chat about the specific questions about which medications are recommended. Yeah.
So I did get sick, but only for a day. It kind of limited my activities on the boat, but I was able to cook a dinner for the crew and then just not eat it. But anyway, for a lot of our folks, scopolamine patch has been kind of the classic drug, but unfortunately for a lot of people, mostly men, it has side effects of not being able to urinate very well, kind of a little specific there. Gives you dry mouth. A lot of people can get confusion. I'm not a big fan of scopolamine patch. The one I really enjoy in terms of side effects is meclizine, or I think the trade name is Bonine, and it's a 25 milligram tablet once or twice a day. Most people will take it nighttime, give them maybe a little sedation, but doesn't give you a GI upset or bladder problems. Gets you your first night rest and helps you out. After a couple of days, I haven't taken mine for 4 days. I wore a little relief band, a little automated electrical stimulator on my wrist, which was a non-pharmacologic way to reduce nausea. And after you get your sea legs, I don't think many people have difficulties with it at all.
Cool. Hey, Blair, since I got you right here, you are also part of our medical supplies, emergency equipment planning. And so if there was anything that is needed in addition to our standard emergency kit, right? What are the extra things that we wanted to consider putting in the ditch bag from the medical perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is you're worried if you're going to have to go climb up into a life raft. You're going to be days potentially or longer. You'll have skin sores. People can be injured in a accident that's actually causing an abandoned ship event. So immobilization of joints, stitches, things like that luckily we've been able to bring to the table here on the boat with us this time. It's really, I'll be honest, the kudos to Nautilus for really having a well-stocked ship, and I think we're really in a very good, safe place on this trip, and hopefully in future endeavors to go.
Appreciate the shout out, but we also appreciate your input and expertise. Heather's as well. Thank you, Heather. I think I saw that you're on here too. You guys, helping to go through our medical kit really, give us like that cutting edge. So much appreciated.
I think we got it updated to a place where it's going to be in good shape.
Great.
Thanks,
cool.
Great.
Thanks, Blair.
Cheers. So a couple other questions coming through as well. Looking at the Celestial Nav. Would love to just get a quick comment on what kind of like that preparation has been, what it looks like, what are the tasks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Hans is the one doing it all.
and talk a little bit about Celestial. What's the process that you've done and what are you doing? So
Yeah, so the process starts with a little bit of planning. Tim and I will talk usually the day before or that morning and figure out when we want to shoot and start looking at star maps and what celestial bodies we want to look at. A couple days ago, we did a running fix with the sun. So we worked out the times. We knew we wanted to be out about 11 a.m. UTC, about 1:20 UTC for a midday shot, and then catch an evening shot. I've been taking shots once a day, maybe a little more often than once a day. We log the time, the ship's log, the DR, so our latitude and longitude, and we certainly log the altitude of the body that we shoot. The next step is to actually reduce that. So I've got a long form and a bunch of paper tables, paper and pencil. We do the sight reduction, plot a line of position in that celestial body. When we did our running fix the other day, we took 3 sun fixes, advanced all of them, did a running fix. At the end of the day, we had 3 lines on a piece of paper. And how close were we? So not to brag too much, the world's 22,000 miles around, and we were 3.2 miles from our GPS location. So I took 2 of those sites. Tim took 1. I can't take full credit. Tonight we're looking at, I did a sun shot this afternoon. We might do a sun shot this evening. Then we're going to wait and see what kinds of stars emerge to get a 3rd shot and put it all together. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, I'll do the sight reduction and put it on Tim's big chart here on the table. I'm not sure if you've shown him your. Yeah. So we are keeping track with paper and pencil on a map as we cross the Atlantic. Yeah, it's fun stuff. It works.
So the
Cool,
world,
thank you.
so spherical geometry works. That's what we're here. The world is round, everybody. Come on. All right.
All right.
That's awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Hans. Yeah, it's been pretty fun. So he's super humble. He actually did a site plan for he had 5 celestial bodies each day based on where we might be on our trip. So we have a laminated sheet of where to look in the sky and how high and what compass direction for every single day on this trip. So a little planning, I think he spent a month doing that. So that's a pretty high bar. It's pretty fun.
Awesome.
All right, I think
TJ, we're getting some questions. Sorry, but we've got questions. Highest wind speeds you've seen so far, and what's been your fastest speed?
Okay, so we saw, I think, 28 true for a little while, and that was according to our chart plotter, we did 13, but I don't remember when that happened. That must have been a spike, but we were, bumping 10 on occasion. We've been sailing pretty conservative at night. We've always, reefed up the sails and just make sure that we're conservative. But we did have a couple night squalls. Last night was a kind of a fun one. Hans and I were on, and it was beautiful starry night when it took over, of course. And then I was like, those clouds look pretty serious. Turned on the radar, got a good size of them, and acquired them so we can see which direction they're going. Sure enough, they're heading towards us. We're seeing rain come out of them. And I said, well, if there's rain, there's wind. So let's get the code 0 down. So we put up the jib, and then we peeled the code 0. 5 minutes later, boom, the wind started coming up, and it was solid 23 knots for half an hour, which would have blown out the code 0. So it's kind of cool using the tech and using our gut and just being responsive. Just doing the hard work of rolling up the sails. We did it at 5 in the morning or something. But generally, we haven't seen much squall action. It's been very dry. Clouds have been kind of irritating because we're trying to get celestial. But we're seeing more squall as we move west. There's more and more squalls towards the Caribbean. So we'll be on that watch. And then pre-planning our sail configuration so that we can just furl up or reef. On this boat, it's super easy to reef. It takes about 5 minutes to put a reef on the main, and the furling jib's super easy. So yeah, feel really comfortable. Top speed, but honestly, averaging we're like 5.5. So the consensus on the group was we're not in any hurry. We want to savor this trip. We don't want to. We know when we're supposed to be there, but it's at the same time we're not in a race. Speaking of race, we did have some Vendée Globe boats come through. Massif and Wholesome PRB, and then there was a lady called Teamwork. She's all solo sailors, they were within, between 15 and 30 miles from us. We were doing 5 and they were doing 12. It was just totally different type of boats. They went around the world in 68 days. So we're hoping to get across a sea that fast. But anyway, it's been pretty fun. There's another, so the Rourke Transatlantic just left Tenerife a couple days ago. So they're all going to Grenada. So I'm expecting a lot of traffic from big fast boats coming our way. With Predict Wind, we can get AIS data. So I'm able to see boats within the kind of the general vicinity of us, which is nice. And then we can maybe see them on our chart plotter. And I think there's also another group that's going to Grenada from Mindelo. I think it's called Viking Explorer or something like that. It's like an ARC type rally of about 50 boats. So yeah, we're not lonely out here, but we haven't seen anybody we know they're out here. So yeah.
Cool. Hey guys, so we're coming up on about 45 minutes here, and so kind of looking at the end of the timeline. One last thing from you here. Great question came in here about, we've been looking at the inside of the boat a bunch. Would you be willing to do a walk around outside for us and show us and show us how the boat is piercing the water?
Okay, I'll do that. It might have been a little too fast when I went through. Okay, here we go. So basically, in the salon, sliding doors, go out cockpit. This is probably the most comfortable spot on the whole boat. It's just in the cockpit here, and there's one of our helms. We've got nice solar array. We're getting about 600 watts when the full sun, which charges our batteries really well. I made water the other day without even touching the batteries. Left them at 100%. Dinghy's there, locked in super tight. Outboard is mounted and locked in. So this is the view here. So power winch running for the code 0. Got our fruit and vegetable section here. Just assume I'm flipped in. And there's Starlink. Thank you, Blair, for bringing us Starlink. Calling it Blair Link. Code 0. And then up forward here. Nice big foredeck. I love the steps on both sides of the mast to get up on top. And you can kind of see how low the boom is. It's pretty easy to get to. A lot of boats are so high that you have to be, put yourself at risk just to get the sail in the bag. And then up forward, we got our jack lines, kind of worked out so we can get to the furler. And then same across. And then we just clip into the trampoline, or when we have to run we just clip into the trampoline there. So I think you guys already saw the Star Lounge. And then you can kind of see all the lines here are just fed back, bottom of the mast all the way to the cockpit, which makes it real easy. It's pretty clean, really wide side decks. I've been on a lot of cats this size that don't have that room. So then all of our lines and reef systems are all right here. Super easy, all power winches here. And chart plotter with tons of info. We've been customizing it. You may not recognize it next time you use it, Ben. So, and then we've got the splat winder, which is cool for the traveler. And that's the quick tour through on the outside. Lots of hangout, comfy spaces. All right, did that come through okay audio wise? It's pretty loud out there.
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool.
Cool. That's about, so next question, guys, I think you had one.
Let's see. Oh, one question coming in from Heather, Blair's wife. Wondering, was there any items that people thinking, should have packed that, forgot to pack it?
That hasn't really come up. I think
Cool.
we did a lot of planning, and I just don't think we had that come up as much. We all kind of overpacked, to be honest. We brought a little bit extra, but I think so far. Hasn't been any.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Kind of the dynamics as you get out here and start doing this stuff. It's nice. It's I mean ubiquitous internet and everything else. But like Jason decided, it's like he was sitting there shopping on Amazon, going like, wait a minute, what am I doing? This is dumb. So he turned off his Wi-Fi and it's like, I'm just going to be here, and uses in his in-reach messenger to stay in touch. But it was just like, wait a minute, I'm like in the middle of this is the thing he's been waiting for most of his life, and so it's just that kind of thing. I think that we're kind of going minimalist, so the less is more kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, cool. Well, TJ, thank you. I mean, this has just been amazing to be able to be with you guys there and kind of see around,
Yeah.
see conditions, see the crew. I mean, this has been incredible. So super grateful to you guys. Just want to mention to the other people while we have TJ here too. We're super excited. Nautilus is going to be dealers for XS catamarans. We know a lot of our clients love this boat, seeing all the comments from people that have sailed her. And so this is kind of an exciting new chapter for us at Nautilus, where we're excited to really help some of our students kind of get into this boat. We love this boat. We believe in this boat. We want to help them on the journey of getting comfortable with a new boat and kind of the process of refitting. We've now put almost 10,000 miles on Aspire, and we've done a lot of upgrades and seen a lot of things and things we did well, things we do differently next time. And so TJ and I are both going to be at the Miami Boat Show. So if anyone is going to be at the Miami Boat Show, February 12th through 16th, come on by, chat to TJ about the Atlantic crossing. He can update you on how the rest of it was. And we'll be there too if you guys want to see the XS14 in person and walk around. We'd love to show you around. And then the XS11, the little sister to Aspire, is a fantastic boat as well. So we'd love to show you guys that. So again, just super grateful, guys. Been great having you guys here. We will send out a link to the recording of all this so you can kind of see it again, and keep the questions coming. If you guys have questions, we can pass questions along to TJ and crew. TJ, you've done an amazing job of just kind of answering things and posting every day on Instagram and on the Aspire tracking link. And so all of you guys should have that link from those links from the reminder emails. So that's a good way that pass along questions to us at info@Nautilus Sailing. We'll pass them along to TJ. And TJ, if you guys get a chance to kind of keep telling us what life is like, we'd love to follow you guys.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'll do that for sure.
Cool.
I see some other questions. I think we could probably answer those offline, right, Ben?
We can do a lot offline. We don't want to chew up all of your bandwidth in this webinar. So if you do have to go, totally understand it. Tim and I can actually stick around for a few minutes. If we want, we can knock off some of the questions that are coming in as well.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect. Great seeing a bunch of former students and friends and family. So anyway, it's so cool. So cool to be able to do this. Thanks for putting this together, Tim.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just going to say, tell the crew thanks, man. So cool to see all you guys in Mindelo. And I know Ben's going to be waiting for you guys in Grenada. So we'll look forward to some video clips and stuff when you guys arrive. Ben, you got to have some champagne ready for these guys.
Oh, yeah, certainly a little bit there.
All right.
Well, we do have
See you guys later.
All right, see you, TJ.
Okay,
bye, TJ.
Tim, did you want to announce the last little bit before we go?
I think that was kind of it, Ben. Are there a few more questions we can handle here before we sign out?
Absolutely.
One about Starlink.
Yes, Starlink. There have been a few questions coming in about Starlink. Let us compile those offline, but generally this particular system is drawing about 10 amps while it's being used for those that are asking. They're getting about between 180 and 300 down, and somewhere, what do you say, 8 to 10 up, or is it 8 to 15 up? So pretty spectacular. Code Zero asking from Mark about how deep we're taking the Code Zero. We've had really good luck pushing it down to about 150. Starts to drop off after 150. Yeah, I mean, like having a much truer ASIM would give you another 20 degrees going down. And of course, you can design any sail you want, and so for any sail angles as well. But at some points, right, you got to make a decision. And so Code Zero works well. We're having really good luck, as everything from close reach down to deepish broad. Certainly can't do it close haul, but as soon as you crack off, basically change out the jib for the Code Zero and have just a fantastic time.
Man, that code zero, it really has been a game changer, hasn't it been? Like the number of times we were in the Med and light winds, like I was in the Balearic Islands and we had 7 knots of wind and we were cruising at 6 knots. I mean, it's just times when usually you would be motoring to be able to pop that up. I mean, it's been a game changer. And the Aspire, this XS14 is just it's much more of a performance cat than most production cats. So we're definitely, she sails well, doesn't she?
Sails incredibly well. Celestial Nav is backup these days. It is not, Celestial is not the requirement. Keeping your position in your ship's log is the requirement. Technology is incredible. Multiple redundancies of technology on board. So no, the Celestial Nav is not, the Celestial part is not the requirement. That's the fun part. The recorded is the important part. Offshore concern with mono versus catamaran. I mean, yeah, any boat can flip over in rough seas. But again, technology is amazing. We can watch weather coming and going, and so we know how to plan around that. So there's a huge amount of preparation and preventative measures to take into consideration when considering about stability of mono versus cat. There's no such thing as a quick run through a ditch bag. It takes a lot to put together. There's very, very important stuff in there. There's a lot of good resources online to look up what should be standard in your ditch bag, including medical supplies, non-thirst inducing rations, carrying water, water maker, fishing, mirror, repair, all sorts of stuff. And we're even putting in a little solar charger with a USB output. As well, right? If you happen to have your cell phone in your pocket when you're getting in your dish bag, right? Like you got to have a way to charge these devices. Obviously, VHF radio, handheld. Yes, tons and tons of spare parts. So many spare parts in multiple redundancies. And yeah, 6 to 7 knots is in line with what we were planning. Absolutely. Yes, we are recording that. They have. There we go. Nice question. That is pretty good. Yes, flotilla plans for 2025. It's coming. I promise. Real soon. Real soon. Apologies, it's taken so long. There. And so I'm going to post the tracking link right now.
Yeah, that's such a good place. Every day they've been posting, guys. They've been uploading pictures. So cool to see their progress, and it kind of shows it in real time what the wind's doing and stuff. So I check in multiple times a day. It's kind of fun to see where those guys are at.
Very cool. No, we're not going to be at Vancouver Boat Show.
Cool. Ben, do we want to go then? If you want to play the last reel, guys, here's the info for, I see some of you guys are going to be at the boat show. Would love to see you. Please definitely stop by. We're going to be at the XS booth. And so, Ben, if you want to put that info up, and then we're going to just kind of end with some shots of Aspire, some drone footage from her all through the Med and kind of down all the way now to the Caribbean that we've taken. And we'll wrap it up with that and then send you guys the link to the recording.
Cool. Here comes the last video. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. Thanks, ASA, XS, and Starlink. This is awesome.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions just about XS catamarans as well, email is nsbroker@nautilussailing.com. Cool, guys. Thank you. Ben, thanks for helping with all the logistics of this and super, wow, what a fun event. So we'll look forward to more. Keep checking your inboxes. I know Ben's been working hard on 2025 events. So hopefully cross paths with some of you guys in 2025 on the water.
Hopefully. Thanks again. Take care, everyone. We're out.
Bye, guys.